خجيخي تاخد سكنتا لاموريتوني or in أنا لمسن أورم بلطن هم زمن ليلة خيه. So بخير على إن خمدي أوبي وين على شقلي جوشنتي. And that's exactly what happened. Everything she prayed and asked for, God gave her. So who am I to take that away and say, no, because I want my grandma to stay here longer, she needs to be on life support. I need to do this. I will take care of her. So it takes a lot of courage to finally say, no, I'm at peace with this.
Hi friends, and welcome to the Assyrian Podcast, episode number 41. My name is Steve, and it is so good to be here with you. One of the things I often encounter when I'm at a wedding is some of my older relatives will nudge me on the shoulder and they'll say, hey, your turn is coming soon too. And while I appreciate the sentiment, it's always got this kind of stigma associated with it. Well, one of the things I like to do is, if I'm at a funeral and the procession is happening, I'll nudge them on the shoulder and I'll say, hey, your turn is coming soon too. Oh, I love that joke. Hey, it's so good to be here with you. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about death. In the Assyrian community, there's often a stigma associated with things like, when is it okay to pull the plug on a family member? And we all know it's going to happen at some point or another, and we should be prepared. We ought to have those conversations ahead of time. Well, today we're going to talk to Nardin Hermiz. She often encounters people in life or death situations. She's a nurse who works in a trauma and cardiovascular intensive care unit. Now, you might think someone who deals with death and sees people in this condition might be sad and depressed, but Nardin actually took what was happening in the hospital and she converted it into a life-giving business that helps people live longer lives. And that's how I met Nardin, was at the National Assyrian Convention earlier this year, where she was providing preventative health and services to attendees. No, she doesn't have a fountain of youth, but she does have products and services that help people live healthier and more vibrant lives. She's the owner of Uptown Medispa in Arizona, and I'm so thankful that we got to have her on the show. I think you are in for an amazing episode today, as Nardin speaks with passion and clarity about topics others would rather stay away from. If this is the first episode you're listening to the Assyrian Podcast, welcome. I'm so excited to share this interview with you. Show us some love by hitting the subscribe button and review the Assyrian Podcast wherever you listen to it. And share these episodes with others. We're proud to be able to bring you these amazing stories of Assyrians who have worked hard and have opened up their own business or lived an amazing life in some other way. Spread the word about the voice of the Assyrian nation, the Assyrian Podcast. And also a special shout out to Tony Kalgarakos and the injury lawyers of Illinois and New York. If you know anyone that has been in a serious accident, please reach out to Tony Kalgarakos. Tony has been recognized as a top 40 lawyer and a rising star by Super Lawyers publication and has obtained multiple multi-million-dollar awards. Tony can be reached at injuryrights.com or 847-982-9516. And now, here is Nardin Hermiz. I know you grew up in Chicago, and then you went to Elmhurst School, and that's where you got your nursing degree and all of that. Yes. Give us a quick, what was that all like for you?
Sure. So first I want to say thank you for having me. It's an honor to speak to you guys and kind of voice my life story, I guess, to everyone, and it's truly an honor. I'm very proud of you guys for what you're doing and just trying to get the Assyrian community closer together and just to listen to one another. So my name is Nardin Hermiz, and I graduated from Elmhurst College with a bachelor's in nursing. I went to school there for 4 years, and when I got out of nursing school, I moved straight to Arizona, and I got a job in...
Elmhurst is in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a suburb in Chicago.
So I'm in California, so I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, it is a suburb in Chicago. It's one of the strongest nursing schools. It was very demanding. You would have, of course, most medical students and nursing students. When you have the four as your undergrad, those classes for most people aren't as challenging. But when you're in medicine and for nursing, you don't have much of a life. you're set for a higher standard, because once you graduate, you're in the field and you're messing with people's lives. So they need to know that you're ready for your state boards to take those exams, pass them, and kind of hit the real world.
Why did you go into nursing in the first place?
So I grew up in a family of nurses. My grandfather was a nurse in Iraq. My aunt was a nurse in Iraq too. And then when she moved out here, she restudied to get her license. And she would come home and tell me a lot of stories of nursing. When I was trying to decide which avenue I wanted to take, science, math came natural to me. And going to the doctors with my grandmother and family members, and I saw what they did, I noticed that in the nursing field, there's a lot more compassion, and you get to use your mind in a different way, and you interact with your patients a lot more. And it was between nursing school and becoming a physician. And then I made the decision of going through nursing because I'm like, when I get married, I want to be able to go to work, come home, and then work stays at work. I don't want to bring work home with me. As a physician, you're there all the time. Your patients are around you all the time. You have to be responsible for them. You drop your life and you have to run to them. So I decided to go through the nursing route, and I don't regret it one bit, because there's so many avenues you can take in nursing. You can be a teacher, a nursing teacher. You can work in the community. You can work in a doctor's office. You can work in the hospital, and there's plenty of things to do.
Yeah, and it sounds like you always had a family focus, so the nursing fit with that. And then tell us what took you to Phoenix.
I met my husband when I was 18 years old when I first started nursing school, and we did long distance. He lived in Arizona, I lived in Chicago, and it was perfect for me as a nursing student because I didn't have a distraction. And it was perfect for, of course, any Assyrian family. You can't go out, you can't date, so long distance kind of was good. And we had a strong relationship, and at that age, at 18, I was able to grow as an independent woman, and him as an independent man, versus mesh together and kind of have this life of, oh no, I have to do everything with my boyfriend or my girlfriend, and just at that early age, unite your life so early. So I think it was a blessing for both of us. And then once I graduated nursing school, he already had established his career out here in Arizona. And it made more sense for me to come out here and start my nursing career.
And how many years did you guys do long distance?
We did long distance for almost 6 years.
Almost 6 years.
Yeah. And then once I got engaged, 6 months before the wedding, I moved out here. And then he rented out a condo, but my sister-in-law lived with me, of course. Until we got married, he wasn't allowed to come and live with us. My sister-in-law lived with me for the full 6 months, and once we got married, she moved out and he moved in. It's very traditional.
Wow, so he had his sister move in with you.
Correct.
While you were out here.
Yeah.
That's excellent. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you were happy because
I was happy, yeah. I had a roommate we were very close to, and it was able to grow our bond together. And his family is very loving, very accepting, and leaving my entire family, my parents, my sister, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, and coming out here, it's a huge change. Starting a new career, living now with a man that I've known for 5 years, and now I have to figure out how do we make a relationship work in the same state, in the same time zone. So it's just a lot of change at once, but I was very fortunate and blessed. His family welcomed me with open arms, took me in as their own daughter, and I've been very lucky.
How did you know he was the one?
I knew that he was the one just because of the kind of heart he has. He has a very gentle heart, but it's also very protective. And I loved seeing that in a man and in a husband, because I see the way my father, as a role model, the way he treated my mother and how he raised 2 daughters. And every time I would look for a man, I wanted someone who role modeled that, and he did that. And especially because he had huge Assyrian values that he held. He was born in Midland, Texas, lived in America all his life, but he reads and writes Assyrian much better than I do. I'm very Umtanaya, and of course a Christian, and those were very important for me. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
That's so cool. And then you move out here, and now you start your nursing career, and so you've been out here for like 5 years. So during that 5 years, you've been doing the whole nursing thing, but you've also been doing something else.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that something else,
Sure.
tell us about what's it like to be a nurse on a regular basis.
Sure. So when I first moved out here, I got a job in medical surgical unit. So that's a step down unit from, you're not super sick, but you're sick enough to spend a night in the hospital. That allowed me, it was a 5 patient to 1 nurse ratio. It allowed me to build my fundamentals in my first blocks to become a strong nurse. So I had to figure out time management, how to juggle 5 patients, how to speak to them, how to take care of them, how to discharge them, education, how to advocate for them. I did that for about 1.5 years, and it was night shift too, and that was very, very brutal. And then my goal was always to work in a trauma center, and that was, the hospital is a level 1 trauma. It's in downtown Phoenix. It's called Banner University Medical Center. Once I felt strong enough that I've learned all I could on medical surgical unit, I transferred to the trauma ICU. So that is where I just was in love with trauma, because I knew in nursing school I loved the adrenaline. I love that high. There was actually a little story behind that. I knew trauma was my calling because there was a guy at church. He passed out and he had a heart attack, lost his pulse, so I was performing CPR on him. And that feeling of I'm doing something was just a huge rush, and I got addicted to it at a very early part of my nursing career. And then when I found out the man made it, he had no neurological deficits, and then 1.5 months later, I see him walking around church, and he was a shamasha and doing shamashuta. It was just like, you know what, I love this rush. So that's why I'm like, nursing trauma is where I need to be. So became a trauma nurse. We respond to all traumas that have to do, and here it's pretty brutal. You get the stab wounds, the gunshots, the really bad car accidents, and trauma is if you don't get to the right hospital at the right time, nothing could be done for you. So there's no, let's wait it out and see what happens. You need fast acting interventions. So it taught me how to think quick on my feet. They also teach us how to, when you're out in the world, out of the hospital, what to do if there's a trauma, natural disaster. So it's really prepared me to kind of fend for my own self, my family, my neighborhood. So. And
most people run away from trauma.
That's
we don't
true.
want to see someone with a stab wound and have to be responsible for helping them with
That's
that.
True.
And you just thrive on that.
I do. I'm in love with it, and it makes me feel like this really sad story just happened to someone. It's their worst nightmare, the worst day of their life probably, and their family's worst day of their life. And it makes me feel like I'm making a very big difference, even if it's something as small as handing them a tissue, giving the family a hug, or helping them decide, do they want to be a donor family because their 18-year-old son now is brain dead from a tragic car accident. Or even when we had a really bad gunshot, and then 3 months later, the guy's coming back, visiting us and giving us all hugs and saying, this is why you saved my life. So it's just, you're making a difference. And I wake up every morning and I'm like, I know this is my calling.
And when it comes to trauma, how much percentage of the population would you say have experienced some kind of trauma?
Oof, I would say at least 90. A lot of people see trauma, and even if you don't physically experience it, because you hear the story, it makes you more alert. And because I see it, I'm always in the back of my head thinking, okay, my husband's leaving for work. This could be the last time I see him. So I'm going to make sure everything is okay, and he knows how I feel about him, and make sure everything will be fine. So, and it gives me a different viewpoint in life. And I think a lot of people take that for granted.
So on the outside, if someone were to meet you, they meet this young woman who's smiling, who's friendly, who's caring, but yet what you're telling me is you also see like this, there's this hectic side behind going on. There's beneath the surface.
Absolutely. And that taking care of trauma patients has traumatized me in a different way. And it takes a lot for me to be able to leave that mindset, all that work and come home and be able to take care of my family and be a daughter, be a wife, be a sister. But it helps me look at life and value life. So, and I think that's something that I can instill in our kids, and my husband knows it too. Every time he walks out of the house, he knows, she tells me stories of what goes on, and it comes out of the blue. It comes out of left field. You don't know, hey, I'm going to go home and I'm going to get in a car accident that paralyzes me for the rest of my life. So, or I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's all to fate.
Yeah, I feel like you deal with the things that nobody else wants to even think about or talk about or wrestle with. So,
and it is hard, but I've also come to a point where I've forced my family to speak about it. Like, if you were put in this position and you can't make medical decisions for yourself, I want us to talk about it. Tell me what you want.
Yeah.
And of course, in the beginning, my mother, my father, my sister, my husband especially, all very hesitant to talk about it. But the more I expose them to what's going on and what people are going through every single day, they've all expressed what they would want, and they know what I would want, and it prepares us for when it does happen. So
you're saying that Assyrian people, especially because in our culture we tend not to want to talk.
You don't want to talk about death. You don't want to talk about something depressing, because it's like, and even when it comes down to being put on a ventilator on life support and having to make that decision, do I need to take this person off of life support? What do I do? And a lot of Assyrians and Christians actually feel that if I take them off life support, I'm killing them. And that's the sad part about not knowing that this God put this patient in a tragic accident, and they're being put on life support not because this will make them get better. If their mind isn't working and their quality of life will not be successful and they won't be who they used to be, why torture them anymore? It comes down to torturing them.
What do you mean when you say these are very strong opinions on pretty controversial? Yeah. But you're going for it.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean when you say God put them in this tragedy or God put them in this trauma?
So, for example, my grandmother, actually, we all went through this. My grandmother is very, very independent. Walked around, and she lived with my mother, my sister, my father, and my aunt. Everyone lived in the same house. They all moved to Arizona, so I would go see them on a regular basis. When I wasn't at work, I was by them, of course. Independent woman, walked back and forth, cooked her own food, washed her own laundry, stubborn, strong woman. One day I get that phone call, hey, Nana's not waking up, so okay, call EMS, I'll meet you guys at the hospital. And we go, and the minute I saw her, I knew she had a hard time breathing. She had a huge, massive stroke. And the fact that that stroke hit that part of the brain, that exact vessel, told me that God's saying, okay, it's her time. Because why didn't it go on the right side? It went on the left side, and it makes all a big difference. So her quality of life was nothing. She couldn't even keep her airway pain. So my father-in-law and I had to make a decision. Do we just kind of say, okay, let's let God take her, or do we want to put her on life support and see what happens? We decided to put her on life support, but with the intention that all her kids can come and see her and her grandkids can come and see her. And that'll also give us about 24 to 48 hours to make a decision. What do we want to do? Put her on the ventilator. Everybody flew in. Her son's also a physician. Did a bunch of tests, gave her 24, 48 hours, realized that the swelling's just getting worse, and she's just trying to actively die. So they asked us, what do you want to do? Half the family was like, no, you're going to kill her. You can't take her off life support. But when we had that talk, okay, you're going to put a trach in her. She's completely in a coma. She's made it very clear to all of us. She's always said, or in Anabgani Lemasin Oram Balton Hamziman Layala Khaye. So Bkheltala in Khamdi Awabi Bain Ala Shaqali Gushinti. And that's exactly what happened. Everything she prayed and asked for, God gave her. So who am I to take that away and say, no, because I want my grandma to stay here longer, she needs to be on life support. I need to do this. I will take care of her. So it takes a lot of courage to finally say, no, I'm at peace with this. And I think it's time to say, okay, Nan, we're going to let you go.
So having had the conversation beforehand, you all felt okay doing that. Yeah.
My father felt okay. I felt okay. And I think the fact that we all knew what she wanted and what she's told us, we were like, she wouldn't want to live in this way. So I had to make a hard decision, but we were prepared for it.
Yeah. So it wasn't that you were saying, though, that God likes to do these things,
No.
or God did it
No,
because,
no,
yeah,
no.
okay.
It comes down to having to balance what's fate, what's God's plan, and what is your plan. And I think we have free will, right? So I can choose to say, I know, God, you kind of want to take my grandma, but I'm going to extend this longer. So I have some power, and life support gives power to people. So it all has to be, you know what, I have to find the happy medium in this. There's a gray area. It's never black and white. Never is. And if it was, like, life would be so much easier. Just take me now. Why still give me breath? Why is my heart still beating? It's just, if I was supposed to die that minute overnight, why didn't it just happen?
I hear you loud and clear, and I think that there aren't answers, and there's just results.
Yeah.
It isn't a right or wrong.
Correct.
It is what it is, and you have to make a decision.
Correct.
So you deal with people regularly who are at that point. Now, there's this whole other side to you, though, that is a lot less...
Intense.
less intense,
Yeah.
very calm, very preventative, very
Yes.
much thinking about. So I want to hear about your business that you launched.
Okay.
When did you launch it? What is it? Everything.
So, like I said, trauma became very traumatizing and stressful. I've been in the ICU for about 4.5 years now, I would say. And it just was taking a toll. I would come home and think about, okay, if I had children, babies at home, can I be caring to them? Because I've given everything. We do 13-hour shifts 3 days a week. So I've just given everything I can right now at the hospital, and I come home late at night. What can I give to my family? So I was thinking, okay, I need to find a way to just slowly transition myself. And I don't think I can 100% walk away from the hospital yet, because I still love it so much. So I was like, okay, I need to do something on the side, allowing me to make enough income where I can go part-time at the hospital and still do what I love. So I was just looking into a lot of things, shadowed a bunch of people, thought about going back to CRNA school, which is a nurse anesthesiologist. And the best thing that kind of fit was launching my own business. In Arizona, an RN can be a medical aesthetic professional. And that's the business that I launched. It's called Uptown Medispa. I have a medical director who's an anesthesiologist. He works, he's my partner actually. And then we went forward and launched this business where we focus on beauty enhancement and IV hydration, B12 injections, and kind of focus on people for preventative and allowing them to feel good from the outside.
What's a B12 injection?
So B12 injection is a vitamin. That's actually one of the things we're offering here at the convention. It's a really quick little poke it's a needle, it goes in one of the big muscles, usually in the hip. It's a water-soluble vitamin. You have it. Everything you eat has B12, but we don't get enough of it. A lot of people are deficient. So when you feel really groggy all the time, or you're struggling with weight loss, B12 focuses on the fat cells in your body, and it goes in there and burns them a lot faster. So then when you burn that, fat cells turns into energy. So now you have a lot of energy, and you also are losing weight. It helps with mental clarity. So a lot of people that are ADHD actually get B12 injections on a medical through insurance very regularly. It helps with sleep and insomnia. You are able to get into your REM sleep a lot deeper with B12 injections. What else does it do? It's a water-soluble vitamin as well. So if you feel like, oh, what if I get too much of it? I don't want to overdose. So the fact that it's water-soluble, your body just naturally excretes it if it has too much in it. So.
And why did you start this business?
So I started this business because I was ready to kind of take a step back from the hospital a little bit, go part-time or work once a week, maybe even once every 2 weeks to get the high that I want, but at the same time feel that I've built something for my future, for my kids, for myself, and for even my children to look up to me and say, wow, look at our mother. She's an entrepreneur. She's going out there. She's starting her own thing. But I have to say, there's no way I could have done this without the support of my husband, of my family. When I kind of brought the idea, and especially with Assyrians, a lot of Assyrians are like, you're taking a risk starting your own business. But I'm fortunate enough to still be able to work full time, make my income through the hospital, and then try to support this little business that I have on the side. So they helped me set up the office space that I have. My dad would always come in, help me with the cabinets. And
your dad would fly in from Chicago?
Oh, no, they moved here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You brought the whole family here then.
Somehow, I don't know. I never called them and be like, Mom, Dad, something with Ali.
Yeah.
But they just all came out here. They were tired of the snow, I think, and the taxes of Chicago, property taxes. So they're like, let's come out here.
So that's awesome, though, that your dad is able to kind of be there and help you as you build your business.
Yeah.
What's it like to be a business owner?
Honestly, a lot of people around me are very, very proud, and it seems like I've inspired a lot of people. But to myself, I'm kind of like, it's just something that I felt like I wanted to do, and I went for it and did it. I don't view myself or feel that I'm like this big shot or this like person who's influencing other people. I'm just like, I did it because I felt a passion for it, and I just took the dive. But then when I take a step back and look at it, and I'm like, you know what, I should be proud. I should be proud because I'm able to make my family proud, and that makes me proud. So
now, when it comes to people's health, it's obviously one of those things where people don't pay attention until something goes wrong. I mean, for you to come to the Assyrian Convention and for you to start this business where you basically want people to be thinking about their own health.
Correct.
Tell us more about sort of where that passion comes from beyond wanting to not be in the intensity of trauma. Tell us more about where do you get that energy to help people be healthier?
I think it comes down to I love answering people's questions and helping educate them, because when you become that sick and you need hospital attention, you need someone next to you, a family member who knows medicine, to kind of stand up for you and agree with the doctors or fight back with the doctors.
Do we really need to do that?
Absolutely. Because everybody can make mistakes. Things happen in the hospital, and if you don't have that person overlooking the scenario, things can definitely get missed. So I feel like the more you go out there, educate yourself, and I'm happy to educate and answer any questions. Like, I'm out there on the booth and I'm getting questions from every angle, like, hey, I have a rash, or I'm not feeling so good today, or my dad is this, and you know what, if I'm more than happy to be that person for people and help them, I guess, advocate for them the way that people need, and makes me happy to do that for my Assyrian community. And I have like our neighbor who's Assyrian, and they went to the hospital, and I'm like, please call me with any questions you have, because if I'm
You don't worry about liability issues and like, oh no, she told us this or that?
Not so much, because I'm not the one making the intervention. I'm just giving my opinion and my suggestion.
Sure.
So, but they need that. They need that person to kind of fight for them.
I know stories where one person went in the hospital and he had no advocates. He was on his own. The best advocate he had was a friend from church.
Yeah.
And she tried to step up for him, but at the end of the day, he didn't last very long. Whereas other people could literally add years upon years upon years just because they had that other person there to help them.
Help them through it, yeah.
It's sad, isn't it?
It is.
The way society is in that
sad.
area.
And it comes down to, especially in our Assyrian community, how do I go against his opinion? But it's like, you know what? They welcome that challenge, because then it gets their mind turning. You know your mother better. You know your brother better. So why not share what you know about their health history with the physician? Because healthcare now has come to, it's a teamwork. Involve family, involve the patient. There's no reason for the medical medical professionals to make all the decisions based on a patient they don't know. So.
And how has this business been? Like, how many years has it been open now?
Actually, I've started it 4 months. It's 4 months old.
It's a new business.
It's a new business. It's a little baby, and I'm getting a lot of clients, and I've noticed a lot of support from the Syrian community. They're very curious about what I'm doing, what's going on, and they're very supportive, so I'm very blessed about that. But it is in Arrowhead, Glendale area. So it's an area where people can afford to kind of not focus so much on, critical chronic illness, and they can take a step back and say, hey, I have enough kind of money to come and speak to this person about medical aesthetics. So.
Is it affordable for people? Like what?
It can. It ranges. So if people can't spend too much money on something, we have other options that you can do.
So anyone can walk in and get some.
Anyone can do it, yeah. From male, female. So I have a little bit of both clients. It's actually 50-50. Men are also interested in medical aesthetics.
Hey, we need to be healthy too,
yes.
And we need to look good too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, with that being said, like actually for guys out there, what would be some things that guys could do to like improve their appearance?
Oh, it goes as simple as just washing your face and moisturizing. A lot of people take advantage of that. Using sunscreen is a big thing too. And hydration is my biggest thing I push on people. People forget to drink water. People forget to eat healthy. Whatever you eat, I say you are what you eat. So whatever you're putting inside your body, and your body is very, very forgiving. That's why it takes years of old age until you actually start getting sick.
Oh.
So you need to start taking care of your body at a young age, and you'll see the results older. It's not, everyone says, oh, but I'm going to die. But it's not when you die, it's how you die. Are you going to be on that deathbed super sick for years and being suffering? Or are you going to die just because of old age and being healthy?
So I have a really selfish question to ask.
Yes, go ahead.
Black tea. I love drinking black tea, and I drink lots of it.
Okay.
Is that healthy, unhealthy?
I mean, there's different studies. Some people say black tea can help with your immune system. It's actually good for cancer. There's a lot. Just like sometimes, drink some wine here and there. But everything in moderation, right? You can't overdo certain things. So I would say if you're trying to taper yourself off of it, I don't know if you like mixing it with some milk a little bit. Not even?
No, I just love black tea, like straight up.
I mean, it's okay. And if you've been doing it for a certain amount of time and your body feels like I like it, go for it. But make the adjustment, because caffeine can get you dehydrated. So if you drink this much tea, drink just as much water with it.
Got it. Good to know.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Assyrians and health, what would you say is one of the most overlooked areas by Assyrians that if Assyrians just had more awareness in this one area, it would dramatically improve their health?
I think the biggest thing is nutrition. Our ancestors, all of them are, and it comes down to genetics, grew up where we farmed, we walked miles and miles, everything was labor. Our bodies are used to that kind of a drive. And we come to America or any other country, and we adhere to their cultures, the fast food, the laziness, the no exercise. And our bodies and our genetics don't know how to adapt to that. And we get so sick from it very quickly. So I would say just you need to know what you're eating. You need to actually exercise and take time for yourself. It doesn't have to be, jogging, running. Even if it's just, I'm going to take some time away from everyday stressors, go outside, meditate a little bit, take a walk here and there. Just let your mind, rest your mind. That's my biggest thing.
That's amazing. Most Assyrians, we don't know. We're just running around. We've been blessed.
Yes.
I know most everyone in my family and most Assyrians I know, we have very good immune systems and good metabolism.
It's that dominant gene. We're fighters. We want to survive. All these years people have tried to get us to be extinct, but we have a fighting genetic kind of a makeup. So
I like that. Well, we need to nurture it though.
Absolutely.
If we just keep abusing it and not caring for it, then that will reverse. Our kids will be weaker and all that stuff.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think a lot of men too think, okay, what's going to the aspect of fertility in our future generations, people think, oh, it's the woman who's having the child. But no, you're providing 50% of that DNA. So you need to be healthy, and you need to provide a strong set of genes so your child can also be strong. Works both ways. That's my little jam.
I like that. That's good. Way to call out all the dudes to step up their health game. Now, it's been a pleasure for me to be able to kind of get to know you, get
Thank
to learn
you.
more about your
Same to you,
business.
Steve. Thanks.
Yeah, and one of the things I love to ask people on the Assyrian podcast is if you could say one thing to Assyrians all around the world who listen to the Assyrian podcast, what would you say to them?
One thing would just be kind. I see a lot of people who get hurt, and emotions take a big toll on your health. So just be kind, go out there and love and do good. One good deed goes a long way. So
Yeah, you're actually very kind, and
Thank
I'm
you.
not surprised by all the people that have been lining up to get these injections and IV
Thank you.
support. So thank you again for being on the Assyrian podcast. And everyone, make sure if you're in Phoenix, go visit Nardin. We didn't get a chance to talk about your name.
Oh, my name, yes. A quick little gist, I guess, because you're asking me, you're like, isn't that a male's name? So,
Right.
And we had a little. It can be worked both ways, man and female. But I'm from what I've understood and read, the male version is pronounced Nardin, and the female is Nardin, and it is a flower. And back home, from what I understand, it's very, very old, and it's also a biblical name because it's the same. The flower was turned into a perfume, and it's very expensive, and that's the same perfume.
Nard.
Yes,
right?
Nard. That's where it comes from,
Okay.
the name Nard. It's the same perfume that was used to wipe the feet of Jesus when Mary Magdalene went to kind of meet him. Yeah.
What a cool fact.
Yeah.
Never would have put
Yeah.
that together.
It is a very famous and biblical
Yeah.
flower. So
Yeah, I've seen nard throughout the scriptures.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the
you,
time
Steve.
to be
I
on the
appreciate
Assyrian
it. It's an
podcast.
honor. Thank
And
you.
we'll come out and visit with you again in a few years and see how the business is doing and how
God
you're doing.
willing, I hope so. That'll be nice.
All right, thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of the Assyrian Podcast. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe and review us in the iTunes Store. Spread the word about the Assyrian Podcast. It has been so much fun to grow this podcast alongside you, our listeners from all around the world. Thank you for making the Assyrian Podcast what it is. Email us at info@assyrianpodcast.com with any questions or comments.